All right, everybody. I apologize for being a minute late. There was going on. I'll be answering the questions via YouTube chat because that's been working pretty well. There's a good chance I'll never get to your question, but I would recommend that you listen to the answers because sometimes I get asked the same question over and over, even though I've already answered it. And if I don't answer your question, wait till like 30 minutes before you do it again, because again, I'm going from the top to the bottom. Let me know if you can hear me. Make sure everything is going well. So we're going to start at the top here from people who, let's see. Nicola says that he's been following my... Oh, before I answer any questions, I should say, hey, Imperial Salt available at Cool Stuff. Thanks to Jason Levine, just texted me that. That's fantastic. Check it out. Okay, anyway. Nicola says he's been following my 100 list for 5 years, and he feels the list became kind of static. Do you feel the top 100 list becomes too small and kind of boring to regular viewers? Well, probably. I worry that my list is not static enough. When I add 15 games a year, I'm like, wow, it's a big percentage. So I realize that it's not going to be interesting to everybody every year if you watched it previous years, which is one of the reasons different top 100s. That being said, at the same time, I think it is interesting to follow it year from year. I think you guys will be really interested in Melody's top 100, which I know we haven't done yet, but come back next week. Cosmic Encounter Peace and Board Game Breakfast. I don't know. I feel like I haven't. I don't know. What is the reference in the top 100 theme song for when it says, I don't even have a top 10? Well, I don't know. Eric Herman wrote that. He wrote that line in there. I guess a lot of people don't have a top 10. And, you know, that's actually an interesting thing, is I meet people all the time, and one of the questions I ask them when we're gaming together is the effect of, what's your favorite game? And at least half the time people pause and are like, I don't know. And that's kind of odd to me because my mindset always ranks everything. If you ask me what my favorite restaurant is, what my favorite color, what my favorite anything is, I make lists all the time. I love doing it. But not everyone does it. In fact, I would guess many, many people don't. I don't know. I almost said most, but I don't really know. But I know a lot of people don't have favorites, so a lot of people don't even have a top 10. Battle Station's on one of my top 100 lists and top 10. Are we going to see a review anytime soon? I wrote a review of that a long time ago. So you go back and read my written review. That is not my wife who does say I don't have a top 10. Eric recorded that, so he's the one who put the voices in there. Let's see. Do you think the market for no-luck abstracts is dying? I don't think so. I just think that the market for board games is becoming big, and the market for abstract games is probably staying pretty steady. So it just looks like it might be dying. Ask me again in a couple weeks anyway. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. How does the Shadows of Brimstone come along? Haven't played it yet. Why do you think Fantasy Flight Game hasn't done a game like Shadows of Brimstone? I mean, a cooperative game. Well, they did put out Lord of the Rings, which was the very first cooperative game. They're putting out XCOM, which is a cooperative game. I'm not really sure what the question means there. Is there a specific time of year that new games are available for purchase? Yes, all the time. There's no time. A lot of companies try to time it so that it comes out at Gen Con or Essen, or at least before Christmas. That's a big thing for publishers. It's really annoying to a publisher when they work really hard, try to get a game out for Christmas, and it's delayed a couple weeks after Christmas. Big difference. Would I back a Zendo Kickstarter? Well, it all depends who ran it. I would certainly be interested in it. I really like Zendo. Let's see. I'm interested in Mice and Mystics, but you recently mentioned it being juvenile in the People's Choice Top 100. Is it any good with adults? Yeah, it can be. It's just that I would rather play a deeper game. Not the story. The story is great. But a deeper game, maybe, if I was playing with adults, like Descent and Imperial Assault. And they're not even deep. But Mice and Mystics is a lot lighter with a fantastic story. So for me, I'm thinking play it with kids. Play it with my family. That's where it fits for me. But I'm not saying it's bad for adults. It's perfectly fine. Is it very likely that Asmodee won't have Mysterium released by Gen Con? Well, they just said they're aiming for a Gen Con release, so I would assume yes. What's the best way to introduce kids to longer, more complex games? Start them out with less long, less complex games and work your way up. Have I played Kanban? I have not played it yet. I've seen it played many times. There's some guys in my game group who love it, but I haven't played it. Aside from Power Grid, what other Friedman Freeze game would I recommend checking out? Well, the monster one, Fearsome Floors. That would be the first one. He's done the Cat in a Sack, I believe, is his too. How many hours a week on average do I spend playing games? A lot. I don't know. 20? Man, no, it's probably more than that. I don't know, maybe 30? A lot. Less than I spend editing my videos, I'll tell you that, though. I spend a lot of time editing videos. Played a lot of Summoner Wars on Sunday afternoon. Man, played a lot of that. Me and my daughter were just going playing games back and forth. All right. Where did you keep your games in your previous house? It looked like a garage. It was a garage, but it was an enclosed garage. It was a built-in garage. How do I keep my games from being damaged from the moisture? Sometimes I keep those demoisturizers in the room, and other than that, there's not a lot I can do. The room also had air conditioning running in it, so it wasn't too bad. I checked them every once in a while just to keep track of that. It's something that I can't do a lot about, but it's not like the moisture was really bad. What are my thoughts on the game Diplomacy? I hate it, but it is an excellently designed game and excellent for teaching classes, but I hate it. I hate it, just to be clear. Let's see here. If Fantasy Flight Games will not reprint Fury of Dracula, do you think they will let the IP go to another company so we could get a reprint? I don't know. Here's the deal. I think people, again, I keep saying the same thing over and over about this, but I really feel people have this whole reprint thing. I cannot think I really want it. I can't find it anywhere. Therefore, it is obvious that a company should reprint it. That's just not good logic. Even if 300 people really want a game, that's probably not worth it for a company to reprint it. They have to figure out, will thousands and thousands of people want this game? Will they pay money for it? And will more than that? And so they have to put that in mind for a reprint. You may think, oh, this game needs to be reprinted. You know, it has really great reviews. Yes, but the market is flooded with tons and tons of new games. So a reprint has to stand head and shoulders. Case in point, I reviewed last week. I think that's a great game. I think it's a classic game that has stood up for 10 years, and the reprint has really made it. Review was a 6. I went up to an 8 with the reprint. I liked it that much, and yet I don't think it will fare that well just because people are sitting there going, next. Are there any surprises in the worst games of 2014? Probably not. I'm pretty obvious when I don't like a game. Might be surprises for what the other guys pick. All right. Okay, guys, I apologize. I'm just catching up to the questions. Okay. What's the most you ever paid for a game and not regretted it, excluding 40K and games like that? The most I paid for a single game. Well, I paid $60, $80 one time. I paid for Chinatown in an auction. It was a live auction, so I got kind of excited. I'm sure there's something. I bought some of those special edition games. I don't know if you're excluding games like that, but sometimes I buy them for different things. Like I bought the new Small World enhanced version that's coming out. That's quite expensive, but I also bought that for purposes of Dice Tower Convention and such. So that's kind of cheating in a sense because I'm buying it for a use like that. Let's see. After the revamping of the show format, do you think a video review segment of gaming conventions would go over well in either the board game breakfast shows? Either of the shows? You presume. Yeah, I think so. The problem is that we won't be able to do that consistently, but it is a good idea. What's in the white cases over on the side? I don't see any white cases. Do you mean this white case? Oh, wait, I'm looking on the wrong side. That's Leapfrog. That's Fragor's brother's first game. It's a small game about jumping frogs over each other and trying not to fall into the frying pan. The little white cases here. Those are my... I couldn't fit everything in my Cosmic Encounter box, so those are the cards for Cosmic Encounter. All right. Is GameCrafter good for the hobby? Well, I don't think that it's bad for the hobby. I think there's a lot of really good uses for GameCrafter. It allows people to make professional-looking copies of their games. It allows people to get prototypes of games and get really nice-looking ones, or to sell a game if you only have maybe 20 people who are interested in it. It's excellent for that. It's a good way to check out a game. So I don't see how that's bad for the hobby. Can you do a top 10 worst games you reviewed? We'll do a top 10 worst games eventually. It's coming. What happened to the top 10 annoying game players in the game group you were supposed to do? Yeah, we're still saving that one. It's coming. It's coming. There are some lists that we look at and we're like, okay, this would be an interesting one, but let's wait on that one for a while. And also because we don't want to do too many of the negative top 10s. We like to make them a positive thing. There's a bunch of BSG expansions. Do you think any of them add to the game? Well, yeah, they all add bits and pieces. If you're going to get one, I'd get Pegasus, probably. Let's see. Recommendations for 2-player games with an 8 to 9-year-old like Brave Rat's Love Letter. Well, I think you just said that. Really, though, there's tons of 2-player games out there. Try the new... what's that game from Blue Orange Games where you move these piles of discs around, and I am forgetting the name of it. Well, that's not very helpful at all. 10 Days in Europe, Asia, Africa, USA are also good games. Do you think Arcadia Quest is worth getting without the Kickstarter awards? Yes, I do. The Kickstarter awards are obviously much, much better, but I think it's certainly fine without those. If you went and bought it in the store, it's a complete game, and it's very, very fun. You've been thinking about getting some extra factions for Summoner Wars. Just have the Master set. What would you say are your top 3 Summoners? First or second specific, and what would be your bottom 3? Oh, I can't answer that question off the top of my head. I can tell you my favorite factions are Jungle Elves. I like both Summoners for the Jungle Elves a lot. I really like the new Master set a lot. I don't think that's going to be hiding that when I'm so excited about it, guys. The possibilities are huge with this new set, and some of the Summoners in the new set I like quite a bit. I like the... I just can't answer this one off the top of my head. I apologize. Someday I will do that. I'll sit with all the Summoners and say which ones are my favorite and least favorite. But there's none that I think I actively dislike. Is there a segment where I will explain what games I reviewed with my new seal of approval that pushed out other games from my collection? Man, I get asked this question all the time. I say when I add them to my collection in the reviews now, hopefully that's helpful. What games they push out is not necessarily any kind of... It's not like, oh, this game takes this game spot. It's more like, this is the same size box. Okay, of all the games that are that size box, which one of those do I like the least and I could afford to get rid of it? That's kind of where it comes down to. Do you earn enough reviewing games, or do you need your part-time youth pastor job? I actually am no longer a part-time youth pastor. I mean, I still am a youth pastor, but I just don't get paid for doing it. So the Dice Tower is my complete income at this point in time. How long have I been reviewing before getting monetary support? Well, I got bits and pieces sometimes throughout the years. Well, I remember like 7 or 8 years ago, we needed a new microphone, and so we got like a couple $100. But I reviewed for about 10 years before monetary support. I've got my hands on Marvel Legendary. I've already played it 4 times. What should be the expansion I get first? Just get the one that's interesting. If you like Spider-Man, get Paint the Town Red. If you like Fantastic Four, get them. If you like Guardians of the Galaxy, get them. Really, whichever one looks interesting, the one with the superheroes you like. That's the best way to go with that. Will I do a video comparing my top 100s over the years? Someday. A good place to buy Haba games? I don't know. Haba USA probably sells them online somewhere. I know kids games don't. They have it. They're like a different market than strategy games, which is why I know Cool Stuff doesn't carry a ton of them, because people don't buy them that much to folks who are people who buy games from Cool Stuff. So I don't know. Will I revisit top 10 lists as new games come out? Oh yeah. Well, we always review top 10 lists. In fact, if you listen to our show, we often do the audio show. We often do our top 10 lists as time goes by. We don't always. What I usually do is I try to wait 5 years between them. So for the video top 10s, we'll probably do something that's very similar along those lines and revisit them 5 years. So yes, we'll do another top 10 essential games, but it will be a while before we do that. That one has almost hit 500,000 views. I'm very excited about that. I don't know why, but it's just a cool number. 500,000. Do you think Fantasy Flight Games will lose the Games Workshop license if FFG will try to make more Star Wars licensed games? That's pure speculation. I have no idea. Are they really competitive? I don't think so. What's my favorite restaurant? All right, I can tell you my favorite restaurant is. It is a restaurant called Shady Maple. It's in Blue Ball, Pennsylvania. It is a Dutch smorgasbord style restaurant, and I'm a big smorgasbord buffet person. But this one is amazing. It's all Dutch. It's just home style food, and every night they change it to different types of food. Like there's a seafood night, and there's several chefs out there making things on grills for you. They have excellent bread. I know it sounds weird, but it is really good bread. It is an amazing place, and it's also a very fun, like, shopping center. They have the largest grocery store in the eastern United States there. They have a big department store there and really cool gift shop and things. I haven't been there for several years, but I would really love to go back. That is by far my favorite restaurant. Okay, does Claire still enjoy robots? Yes. Have you had a chance to see Elder Charter Mountains of Madness? No, but I can't wait. Dice Tower Judgment approved does not equal Dice Tower seal of approval. No, it does equal that. That's what I mean when I say approved. What games did the winning bidder get in your grab bag entry? Colt Express, Sheriff of Nottingham, nothing personal, with the expansions and promos there. I gave him an iron die that we had a couple left over from the Kickstarter last year, and then a couple other small games. I don't remember. There might have been another big game too, but I apologize. My mind has gone blank. Let's see. Do I plan to come to the big board game fair in France in February? Probably not. I have not been invited, but yes, I would like to do that someday. Do you still play Augustus? I played it a couple months ago. I think it's a very fun family game. It's one of those games that just easy to sit back and play. Other similarly length games, well, Splendor. If you like Augustus, I think Splendor is kind of in the same category. What optional rules do you like to include in playing TI3? I like to play with everything, except I don't play with Distant Suns, and the characters, we use them about half the time. About Shadows of Brimstone, this was a previous question. You want to know why Fantasy Flight doesn't make a game where characters level up between missions, and it's a cooperative game. I believe that's called Imperial Assault. Check it out. Available on Cool Stuff. Let's see. Any game this year that you think is getting overlooked and isn't going to end up on any best of the year lists? Yeah, there is. But hang on one moment. Let me get my top 10 list. Well, I don't know where my list is right now. That's odd, but I'm going to be remaking it anyway. I don't know. That will be a question. That will be probably something I'll bring up in my top 10 lists thing. Did you get Coup Guatemala 1954 at Essen? No, I didn't. I think I might have a copy of it, though. I'll have to look back. Why did you choose to do a 24-hour of gaming instead of a bit shorter, like 12 hours? Well, first of all, I'm trying to go for 18 hours, but I'll tell you the reason. Because I am being quadruply here, well, mostly by Jason and Sam. Jason and Sam are like, we can do it. I'm less enthused. We'll see. I don't know if I can pull it off. What game do you think is a must-have for a Christmas present? Guys, come on. That's a bad question. There is no game that will fit a must-have for anybody. You got to figure out the person you're giving a present to and find out what is the specific game to give to that person. There is no magic game that works for everybody. What do you say when they learn rules for a game all day? Then they say they don't want to play it when they come round. Oh, when I learn... Okay, so what do I say when I've worked hard on learning the rules for a game and people say they don't want to play it? I play it anyway. I'm not going to mess around. I'm going to play this game. I've worked on it, and if you guys want to play it, maybe some other people will. I always find players. I have a really good gaming group that way. There's always some suckers some good friends who want to play my game. What do you think were the most innovative new things in board gaming this year? Watch my top 10 of the year. We'll talk about that there. Can you tell when Sam and Z are bluffing in a social deduction game? Never. Would you consider doing a top 10 for games with the dumbest themes? Maybe. My brother's going to be in Japan over the Christmas season and asked him to look for some small games for me. We'll get rolling Japan. That's one I would certainly want to get a hold of. And that The Colors of Kazmoon, I think, is the name of it. Episode with Sam and Z in a dress? What? Why? Okay. Would you support a reprint of Escape from Colditz? You know, I never actually played that. I've seen it played. It looks interesting. I've heard kind of mixed things back on it. Suburbia or Mad King Ludwig? I keep them both, but I like Suburbia a little bit better, although that could change with expansions. Age of Empires 3 is being reprinted. Well, I suspected it was going to be. Who is reprinting it? Eagle Griffin? I don't know who's reprinting it, actually. Does Flashpoint Fire Rescue hold up over time? Definitely. It's still my collection. See it? It's right there. Okay. What do you not like about war games? I do like war games, but I know what you mean. Why don't you like the big, heavy rule games where you have to look up lots of charts and they take a really long time? That's why. Which Dice Tower member matches your taste in games the closest? There isn't any. Because there are some things like me and Z, those light, fun games, like we're right there. Boom. We'll both be playing it. We'll look at each other like, yes, I love it. Big thematic heavy games, me and Sam are like right there. We're like, love it. You know who matches me the most? Melody. Let's see. Dead of Winter standees at the Dice Tower team for Kickstarter. Not gonna happen. Will you keep Sentinel Tactics? No. I enjoyed it, but there was no place for it in my collection. And again, that's not an indictment against the game. It's because my collection is so very big. I find setting up Legendary very tedious. Do you have a way to organize your box to speed up setup? No. It's a little tedious, but I just do it. It doesn't take that long, but it does take a bit. When conventions such as BGG-Con and Dice Tower Con sell out many months before the event, isn't that a sign that they should expand? Whoa. Except maybe for a couple things. BGG-Con doesn't want to expand. They're very happy with the size that they are. And we're speaking about BGG-Con separately from Dice Tower Con. If you want to get in BGG-Con, you can. Seriously. It sold out months after they put it up on the tickets for sale. Dice Tower Con sold out in a week. That was a little bit different. That was unfortunate. But we were limited by room. Now we're going to be expanding, but you can only expand so big a fast a convention. If you ever hear people talk about the big giant conventions, they always complain about this and that. And those complaints that they have are things that you have to think about. When you're running a convention, you have to think about, is there enough hotel space? Do we have enough volunteers to cover everything? When we make a convention too big, are we bringing in maybe crowds of people who are unsavory and who take the feel of the convention in a different direction? And so you have to be very cautious, and it's best, as much as I would love to just explode the Dice Tower convention, it's best probably that it's growing this way. Now it's going to go, it's 1,000 in 2015, it's going to be 1,500 in 2016, and then it's going to go to 3,000 the year after that. So we are going to be growing it, but we are limited by many things. Believe me, people want to grow things. But at the same time, if you grow too big and too fast, let's say the demand goes down the next year, you have to be very cautious on how you handle these things. Top 10 list of most beautiful games. We could do that. I just don't think it'd be... Oh, Piero said that. Well, it would probably be Ghost Stories for sure. Probably. No, but I've thought about it, but I don't know how funny and interesting it would be. Basically, we're like, isn't this beautiful? Yeah, that's beautiful. Woo, that looks great. I don't know that it would coalesce as something interesting to put on a video. What was the game you were ranting about in Board Game Breakfast? Ah, that would be telling. Battleship. Yes, Battleship is the two-player game. Why couldn't I think of that? Battleship. How about a top 10 books, movies, themes you wish were made into board games? That might be one we do sometimes. Should someone start with the original Summer Wars Master Set or the Alliances? Probably the original, just because it's easier to understand and get into. Although the new one is really nice. Has my opinion of Imperial Assault changed? No. Will me and the fellows be doing a top 10 games that replace other games videos? Those are always needed once a year? No, they're not needed once a year. We'll do it at some point again. Do you think Imperial 8 Assault will 86 Descent from the Fantasy Flight lineup? No, I don't think so. Because really, that's two different markets. There are people who like fantasy and there are people who like sci-fi. Yes, I know Star Wars is not really sci-fi, it's fantasy, whatever. They feel very different in their themes. So if you have two successful lines that are meeting two different market groups, I cannot see why you would shut one down. Also, I asked them and they said no. Seems pretty straight up to me. Have you considered playing Dungeon Fighter or Cashing Guns in your 18-hour live event? Well, yes. Or some other dexterity games? Well, yes. In fact, guys, I hope you come watch that. You don't have to. I mean, it is the weekend, and I probably wouldn't watch that much of it. But we did have a lot of fun last year, and there was quite a few people who watched. Have you played Dice Masters with the official team variant? I have not. I plan to. Me and Jason are going to challenge the designers in some face-off, because they beat the BGG admins, but we feel pretty confident that we could whoop them, make them cry. Okay, maybe not. I feel like Jason could do that, and I might be able to help. Let's see. Will you review the Clash of Cultures expansion since you were not a big fan of the base game? I thought the base game was okay. It wasn't bad. I liked it, but I didn't love it. And the expansion, maybe. If I have a chance, yes. How often does the least played game in your top 100 get played? I don't know. I would have to sit and think what that game would be. Is your game limit based on shelf space or a specific number? Mostly shelf space. Will Star Wars Armada replace X-Wing? I don't know because I have not played Star Wars Armada. Man, though, X-Wing is super fun and I really like it. I don't know that it could replace it, but you never know. I'm an avid Blood Bowl player and interested in how Chaos Ball holds up in tournament mode of play. Have you tried it out yet? I don't play tournaments really, so I don't really care. I just want to know how much it holds up in casual play. That's really me. Any advice for surviving 24 hours of board gaming? Yes, don't do it! For me, I am going to try to sleep part of the day before, and I'm just going to keep ramped up. I don't recommend eating snacks all day long, but that's something I will do during the 24-hour thing to stay awake. Also, I'll probably drink a lot of highly caffeinated beverages. Again, something I don't recommend doing, but something I will do to stay thing. I only do it once a year. I don't stay up the whole night through ever. Just that one time. So, New Year's Eve, as soon as it's midnight, it's like, woo, let's go to bed. The best real-time game you can recommend? Space Alert. Did Jason ever get you to play Aliens? He raved about it, wanted you to get it played soon. No. For one thing, he doesn't have it here. For another thing, I just won't play it unless I'm absolutely have nothing else to do. Should you get the expansion for King of Tokyo or go for King of New York? I don't know. Long range, King of New York is going to have more expansions. I feel pretty confident about that, but getting an expansion for King of Tokyo will be fun for you also. Should I delve into Warhammer 40k 1000 Conquest or stick with Star Wars and Netrunner? It all depends what you like. Netrunner is probably the best of the three games. Star Wars and 40k feel very different. These are questions I can't answer for you. You have to decide. I hate when people say, well, do you think I should do this or this particularly? I don't know you. So of those three games, which one do you find yourself most interested in? Whoops, lost track of where my questions were. Oh, I see Steve Avery was here online. Well, that's sad. All right. Wow. Okay, guys, I apologize that I'm not answering all the questions. Let's see if I can find where we were. I've answered those. DiceTower.com needs to update its top 100 tab to include 2014. We specifically did not add those yet because we are about to. I mean, we're talking within weeks. Transfer all the information over to the new site. The new site structural has been built. It is 95% done at this point. As soon as it's finished structurally being built, we have to put all that information into the new site. So we didn't want to put it here and then have to put it here again. We'll just put it in a new site for the first time new. I apologize about that, but this new site will hopefully run really smoothly. I'm very excited about it. the new site, the way parts of it are going to work, are you're going to like look up, let's say you want to look up Assault on Doomrock. Okay, and so you look at Assault on Doomrock, and you'll see my review of it, and then you'll see, does anyone else done a review of it? Oh, look, the Secret Cabal talked about in episode 232. So you go watch their episode. Then on their episode, you'll click on Chris's name, and then you'll say, oh, here's games that Chris has reviewed, or here's other episodes that Chris has been part of. He was part of episode 53 of Blue Peg Pink Peg. Oh, here's the guys from Blue Peg Pink Peg. They once did a video. Hopefully don't expect all that right out the gate, but that's what we're trying to do, is so that you'll be able to say, oh, I want to learn about a certain game, Assault on Doomrock. Okay, well, Tom reviewed it here, Ryan reviewed it here, Dan reviewed it here, it was mentioned on the Dice Tower here, it was mentioned on this podcast here, and so it's going to be kind of like Board Game Geek for the podcast, for the Dice. That's what we're looking for, not for everybody and all the reviews and stuff, but for our stuff. So I'm very excited about that, and I hope that works. And also, then you'll say, okay, and it was on this top 10 list, it was on this top 10 list. So it's like a smaller subset of Board Game Geek to some degree that's just Dice Tower Network stuff. And I'm shooting for kind of a Rotten Tomatoes vibe, hopefully. Let's see here. Shady Maple has breakfast for free. Hey, I did not see Interstellar. Who is my favorite 4-people gaming group? Well, it could be anybody. I love playing games. There's so many people, and I'm not going to pick and choose, but I'm really happy with my current, my main 4-player gaming group is obviously Sam, Z, and Jason, although it switches out. We got Ken and Warren and all these, and so many different people. So I would be very hesitant to list my 4 favorite. I do have in my mind, I keep track of my favorite gaming opponents. There's so many people that I meet them at convention. I'm like, wow, they are so much fun to play games with. It's one of the reasons I hooked up designing with Steve Avery, because he was so much fun to play with. Do you know if a German publisher has already picked up Sheer for Nottingham? Yes. Any new updates in Robinson Crusoe trait 2 cards? I don't think that's going to happen, guys. I keep asking Ignacy, but I'm not sure he wants to go back and do those. We'll see, but it hasn't happened yet. Do you think it's possible that CSI would open a store on the West Coast? Highly doubtful, and I'll tell you why. Because with the ones in Florida, they can drive around and go look at the stores. With Florida, they have to be flying there all the time. It would be a store. It's the same reason any franchise doesn't just explode nationally. Have you heard anything about it being online stores before the new year? I don't think so. It will probably be in stores in January. Would you consider a top 10 best games from Parker Brothers, Hasbro, Milton, Bradley? We've done that on the audio show. We made a video show. Remember, a lot of top 10 lists that you might say, oh, why haven't you done that yet? Well, first of all, we only do one every 2 weeks at the most, sometimes longer than that. But you can also go to our website, and we've done tons on the audio podcast. Which convention would you recommend going to? Dice Tower Convention, and it all depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for a big, giant convention, Gen Con is where it's at. If you're looking for a big convention, but it's a little bit more breathable, then Origins. If you're looking for just playing games, then BGG Con. If you're looking for super playing games, you're probably some local regional con. There's so many good conventions. Do you know yet if Marvel Versus will be simply reprinted as an LCG, or will it all be new cards? I know that reprint is part of it. I think there will also be new cards. Have you seen the just announced Free Space Kickstarter? It seems like it's cashing in on X-Wing to me. I'm nostalgic for the IP, but it seemed to launch without any lead-up marketing. That's true. I hadn't heard anything about it until I saw that the Kickstarter came up today. It does look kind of like X-Wing, although I don't think that X-Wing is like this protected system in a sense, because remember, X-Wing is on the wings of war glory thing. So that changed that somewhat. I don't see why another game couldn't change X-Wing. I don't know much about Free Space and the origins of that, so that doesn't really tie me in. So I looked at it and went, well, we'll see. If it funds, I'll take a closer look at it later on. That's really how I deal with a lot of Kickstarters. Like, interesting. I wonder what will happen. But I put them out of my mind, and then I just wait and see if they fund or not. Then I get more excited about them. Did you keep Legendary Encounters in your collection? No, because I like the Marvel one better. Is the Avengerverse X-Men Dice Masters being reprinted soon? I think so, but I don't know for sure on that one. Would you ever go to Con of the North, or is it too small, cold for you to make it? Probably. Have you played Sons of Anarchy yet? I have not. I haven't even gotten a copy of it. I might. The theme of the show is very dark for me. There's like no heroes in the show at all. And so the theme doesn't interest me that much. The idea does, though, and I'll probably get a chance to play it at some point. Have you played Friedman Freese's Funny Friends? I have not played it, sorry. I once did a review for 18EZ, says the Kabuki Kid. Have you since played any other 18XX games? No! 18EZ was way at the top of my complexity limit. There's no way I would go beyond that and play anything else. And anytime I do see people playing 18XX games, they're all sitting there extremely quiet, staring at the board for long periods of time. That is fun sometimes, but for the most part, I want to be laughing and joking and having a good time. How many players in your gaming group? Well, in the meetup group, it says 500, but that's not true. On our Tuesday night meetups, we have between 20 and 30 people show up usually. On the Saturday meetups that we have once a month, I would say it's around 80, maybe. There's a lot. Steve Avery says something stupid. How do Dice Tower logos or seals of excellence appear on board game boxes? Because publishers put them there. If you're a publisher and we've said you get a seal of approval or seal of excellence or a Dice Tower award or whatever, let me know. I'll send you the file and you can put it on the box. I don't care. It's up to you. Any big meetup will be at Cool Stuff. Well, I don't know when the next big Black Saturday meetup type will be where we had raffles and stuff. We have one at the end of this month on the 27th. I think. The one that's between Christmas and New Year's. Have my thoughts of the Star Wars LCG change after more expansions have been released? I played it with some of the expansions, and it was about the same, though. I liked it. Still doesn't feel super Star Warsy to me. And then I realized that there was no way I wanted to buy a pack every month. I just couldn't keep up with that. So it's kind of off the charts for me at this time. Is there a game my entire family plays regularly? One Night Werewolf, probably. Lords of Z gotten to play it anymore since review, or does it hold up in multiple plays? Yes, but that's the last question I'm gonna answer about that. Yeah, I'm not gonna keep answering have you played it since you reviewed it. Sometimes yes, but I have to play a ton of games, so you cannot go by me. You cannot go by what for multiple plays. My goal is to review a game, play it, then review it, tell you about it, and then move to the next one. I don't think most people should do that. I think most people should play games a lot. And even my friends, I rotate through my gaming group so that they can play the games they like. I love playing new stuff, but you cannot go by, well, Tom hasn't played it for 6 months. Well, yeah, but that's because I was playing 500 other games in the meantime. Well, that's rude. Let's see here. When you play Epic Thunderstone, how many copies of each card do you include? Oh, okay. That's a good question. I like this. Epic Thunderstone, there's just too many cards for the boxes as it is. But I managed to fit everything in the 2 boxes right here. I have every card except for the heroes that are 2 types. I divide all the heroes by types. I have fighters and clerics. And so in each pile, I put 3 of that hero, except for the, let's say a hero. Then I'll put 2 in the fighter pile and 2 in the cleric pile. That way they show up just slightly a bit more often. For everything else, I put in about 3 apiece. There's a couple exceptions to that because there's some cards that work better when there's a lot of them. But for the most part, that works well and it keeps the piles. I'd say a pile is this thick maybe for most of them. And some of them I split in half. Like the magic pile would be this big, but I split it. The item pile and things like that. How often do you game at your house versus outside the house? About the same. If you had to be a character in Ghost Stories, Monk or Wu Fang? Oh, I'd be a monk. Well, no, I like being the bad guy. Wu Fang. Since we so know your personal preferences, what is your favorite comedy TV? You mean currently? I don't watch comedies that much. My favorite comedy, or I guess it would be a dramedy, was Chuck. I really like Chuck. And I think Doctor Who is a comedy half the time, too. And I like that. I like Precinct 99, I guess. Oh, the middle. I like the middle. The middle is a very solid. It's like a continuation of Malcolm in the Middle to some degree, and I like stuff like that. I don't know why, but I don't watch a lot of TV. Period. Let's see. Tales of Arabian Night for the first time. We end it with consecutive house fires. What are the odds? I have no idea. 1 out of 2,379.4. If you could only own one deck, best one. Tough question. Probably Core Worlds. No, Legendary. Sorry, Legendary. Let's see here. 2 cheap, really good games and one really expensive, great game. Oh, the one really expensive, great game. I get one great game over 10 cheap, good games. Hands down. I live in Indy. What would it take for you to get you to play a game or two with my friends and I at next Gen Con? Well, it would take you having to hunt me down and find me and play a game with me. I play very few games at Gen Con. It's just super crowded, and there's so much that I have to do when I'm there. And so it's unlikely because I'm busy working at Gen Con in a sense, going around and doing things. And so, are you going to play Imperial Assault in the gaming marathon? We'll have to wait and see. Let's see here. What do you think of the Mercs Recon Kickstarter? It looks quite light. Didn't I play Mercs Recon? That's the one with dice, right? I like that one. Who's going to join me for my 18-hour event? Well, Sam, Z, and Jason, and Nick from Board Game Brawl. So that's 4. We may have 1 or 2 other people float in and out. We'll have to see. Have you played Italian Werewolf? It's a much richer experience. I have not played it, no. I bought Arkham Horror, but I've yet to play it. Should I get rid of it and get Elder Char instead? Yes, you should. Let's see. How do you deal with the person that gets mad when things don't go their way and then say the game is bad? I don't care. The game is bad all they want. We just laugh at them and say it's because you lost. When asked about Flying Frog games, I always seem kind of irritated. Is there some gripe you have against them apart from the fact that they don't send you games? No, that's not a big deal. I mean, I don't mind that at all. I don't have a gripe against them at all. In fact, one of the games we're playing for the gaming thing is Conquest of the Planet Earth, which I think is a great game. I did have a little bit of a gripe on the Shadows of Brimstone. I thought it was really kind of cheesy that there were miniatures were on sprues where you have to cut them off and then, cut off the flak and then paint them and all that. And I'm not here to get into a miniatures hobby. I'm a board gamer, and so that was kind of annoying. But other than that, and I will joke about those soundtracks that they include in games, but their games are fine. I haven't played any of their games did I play any that I hated? But I'm not a huge fan of all their games. But again, I really like Conquest of the Planet Earth. How do you feel about Greater Than Games' concentration on the Sentinels universe? It's their shtick. They can do what they want. I mean, most companies like the concentrate in the universe. Fantasy Flight concentrates on their Runebound and Star Wars universes, right? What game would you wish you had designed or invented? Well, probably Ticket to Ride, because then I would be sitting here counting my gold. Well, no, I don't know. I don't care. Chuck says he loves the sandbox nature of Xayah. Are there other games like it? Not many. There are some, maybe, and I'm having a hard time thinking of one right now, but Xayah is super fun. Is this the best year in board gaming? Last few years was. I don't think so. I still want to say probably the best year in gaming was 2004. That was such a year. Wow. This has been an excellent year, of course. How many games from this year will be talked about in the future? I don't know. There's a lot of games that made my top 100 that came out this year. But I don't know. I'm being cautious about saying it's the best year in gaming. But it's an excellent one. I don't know what AVGN is. All right. Why do you Duel of Ages 2 and the Master Set? Do they add different things? Where is Duel of Ages? Somewhere around here. Oh, it's up there. Well, yeah, the Duel of Ages. That is Duel of Ages. The 2. It's just I have everything in 2 boxes. That's all. It comes in. Basically, it's a box and then an expansion. That's all. No update on the twice weekly shows yet. I have a big update coming, but I think the first week of January is when we'll know. I am still working on it. I'm still working on the Kickstarter now. I've nailed down a few things that we're going to have. Again, I don't want to have too much in the Kickstarter because we're not trying to sell you our show. We want people to watch the show, and so that's what the Kickstarter is all about. But I have some ideas, I have some thoughts, and there's things that we're working on, and things that we'll always work on. How much different would your top 100 list if you could only pick games that are still published? I would stop doing it, I think, because that's such a pain. When we do a top 10 list, like our Christmas, when we did our 12 games of Christmas, we said, okay, the games had to be in stock for us to be able to put them on the list. And games go out of print and in print. Of course, my list would be different, but it just would be kind of weird because games go in and out of print so easily. Some of my friends really like the weight and intensity of Splendor. Any suggestions for games at a similar level? Ticket to Ride. I'm looking at playing my first co-op game. What's a good game to start off with in this genre? Pandemic. Is there any way to get a hold of Spyfall before the American release, if you're willing to pay a lot of money? Is Mike Hosey? I don't know who that is, but I think they're speaking about Matt Hosey, my best friend. Will he be on the 18-hour gaming marathon? No, he has moved away, sadly, so he will not be here for this one. I said my wife doesn't like being on camera, but is she a big gamer like me? Nah, she's a casual gamer. She'll play occasionally, but she doesn't care about it that much. Can I speak on how you balance playing games with family time? Family comes first. If you can play games with your family, that's kind of a cheating way to do it. What denomination do I consider myself part of? I don't consider myself part of any denomination. But if you beat me with a stick and stuck me in a corner, I would tell you I'm Baptistic. Are there any women gamers in your game group, not including family, or is it only guys? No. We have, let's see, Warren's, Jean, and a bunch of ladies whose names have just all gone out of my mind. But I'd say we have at least 10 to 15 women gamers in our gaming group. And my daughter, Melody, who could kick. Oh, man, she just beat the snot out of me in Summoner Wars this Sunday. We played 5 games in a row, and she won 3 out of 5. And I'm not pulling punches in these. In fact, in one game, I confidently predicted her loss. And she said, well, let's just keep playing anyway. I said, fine, we'll play it out. Pride goeth before a fall. All right, have I played Redactic? I have not played it yet. Sorry. And whoa, I just lost track of the questions again. And we only have 11 minutes left. All right, guys. Okay, let's see. What games do you think would benefit a Pop-O-Matic? I'm kind of joking about that in the show, but I would love to see a Pop-O-Matic in games. I know a Pop-O-Matic doesn't let the dice pop as much as it should, but if you put smaller dice in there, it might. I just think it's a fun thing. What someone needs to do is do a Kickstarter, right? For a Pop-O-Matic where you can open the bottom of it and put the dice in. Wow, wouldn't that be great? Like they wouldn't call it a Pop-O-Matic though, because you don't want to get sued by Hasbro. But like I have this device with this bubble on it, and you can put the dice in and press it, poof, and the dice. But it would be there'd be a way to put the dice in and out. Fantastic! I would back it. Someone's probably going to think about doing that now. All right, which cooperative game do you cooperate the most? All of them, except the ones with traders. Do your top 10 on the podcast video with the back and forth banter? No, they have a very different feel. We are very. You'd have to listen to him. Eric and I have a different feel, and I really like it. I love working with Eric. He's a great co-host. So it's a very different feel. We're not busting each other's chops as much as we do on the top 10 videos. Is there a theme you'd like to see done in the board game? Yes, grocery stores. If you need to read a rulebook, is it bad to start a different game so you can read it while playing? Is there a good way to read and play without seeming rude? Well, that's up to the gaming group, how well you can read and not be distracted, or is it taking you out of the game? Do you think that rulebook should give more examples of play? Never hurts to give example plays. Never. Sometimes an example play is the best way to understand what the rules are saying. What have you been reading lately? Well, I read books for that Name of the Wind series and read the second book, then I was like, where's the third? And there was no third, so that's sad. Now I'm reading another book, which name is escaping me, but it has to do with a torturer a barbarian who's old, and a young dashing fencer who's arrogant. They're the three main characters of this book, and it's a fantasy book, and it's kind of a darker fantasy book. It's pretty good. I don't know if I'm going to get into the whole series or not. I want to finish this one and see how it works. For life of me, can't remember what it's called. In the Name of Blood or Blood, I don't remember what it was. Do I plan to review Kill Shakespeare? I'd like to. I have not gotten a copy of it yet, but if I did, I would review it. We'll see. Favorite Forex game? Probably Twilight Imperium. What's our good ways to start a gaming group? Just start one. I mean, get out there and do it. Don't start a meetup group. Post and just figure out how to do it. That's the best way to do it. Do I think I was too hard on the designer of One Man Upship as though the game was terrible? You were pretty hard on the guy. Yeah, I feel... No, I'm not sad about that. You can go look at the one-upmanship page. He responded to my review. You tell me what you think. Will my playing wind down around the holidays? Take a break or slow down a bit? On Christmas Day, I completely shut down board gaming, usually because we're playing like the Wii or something like that. But for the rest of the time, no, I actually ramp up gaming over the holidays because some people have off from school, like Sam is not teaching. Some other people, some of the other guys in my gaming group are teachers or have kids that they can get out of school. So I always ramp it up. My reviews might ramp down, but I will be ramping up. Add any house rules to Zaya? I don't think so. Is there going to be a list of all games played in live play on Friday? I listed them in the live play videos. You can go look there. Will there be any more Thunderstone Advanced Expansions after Into the Abyss? I don't think so. But, I might be wrong. X-Wing or Dungeons & Dragons Attack Wing? Are they the same price to get decent armies? Yeah, they're probably about the same price. I would recommend whichever theme you like better. Dungeons & Dragons has a much more... It's a ground war involvement and things. X-Wing is all about spaceships. So which one do you like better? How did you come across Barry Dublé? He made a video making fun of one of my videos, which I thought was hilarious. So I asked him to be part of me. If you mock me, I'll usually come and hunt you down and see if you're interested in helping me out. Because I think humor's funny, and I think I'm a pretty good target. I don't mind being made fun of. Which future are you looking forward to the most and why? Tough call. I've seen all the cards for the Dungeons & Dragons one. It looks really fun. But the DC one, I'm excited about that one a lot because who doesn't want to take Superman up against Captain America? Things like that. Eugene. Oh, Eugene, you can tell people what I sent you because I can't remember and I asked. But anyway, he's wondering what you think is the optimal board game collection size. That all depends on you. I have this huge collection because I run a gaming group and there's a lot of different things that I do, but I wouldn't want to say everyone should have a big collection like this. I think you could be quite happy with 30 games. Will I be reviewing Rune Wars soon? We did review Rune Wars. We did it, right? Yeah. We did a Miami Dice on it. Which alien race and cosmic encounter is your favorite? Well, that always flip-flops around. But I always go back to the masochist. I like trying to lose to win. Have I played with the Kickstarter expansion characters that came with Daybreak? I don't think so. Because I think I just got a normal box. There wasn't anything in it that said Kickstarter only, I think. Do you prefer a game with great theme but is a little weak mechanically? Or mechanics but a bland theme? Probably the first. But I don't like... That's one of those questions that... Why do I have to choose? Give me a game with great theme and great mechanisms. How close is your hat collection coming to rivaling your game collection? Actually, my hat collection, I lose them all the time, so it will never come close. I was just telling my wife I need more hats. That's a good Christmas present. You want to send Vassal a hat, send me a hat. I love this style, but I love top hats. I love derbies. I love hats. The problem is with hats is that I have such a gigantic head. When I was in Korea, I went to the hat, and I couldn't find any that fit my head. In America, I need an extra large size, which isn't common. And the lady looked at me and she's like, your head is a melon. I said, thank you. I appreciate that, but yeah, it was unfortunate. I do like hats, but I'll find them eventually. I love hats. Let's see. Do you have more free time at Origins than you do at Gen Con to play games with people? Oh yeah, I have more free time at Origins. We played a lot of games at Origins last year compared to Gen Con. Origins is just a much slower, laid-back show, comparatively. Sean says, how are you enjoying Name of the Wind? I love it. The second book, I loved it too. But I really want to see the third book. In fact, I got my wife to be reading the first book. I don't know if she'll like it or not yet, but I thought she'd like the first book at least. Any house rules to improve Talisman? Nope. I don't want to play it, so I'll just go play a different game. How much leeway do you give for takebacks in games? If someone does a move and then decides to change it, I don't mind at all to allow people to take back their moves. In a two-player game, tons of leeway. However, if I've already made my moves and your moves need to undo my moves, then we might have to. Then it might not be as possible to do. And I don't like a takeback when you draw a card and look at it and like, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Well, you already looked at the card though. So it all depends. But for the most part, we're pretty easy going. We're not playing for money. That's what I always say. Who cares? How's your next game coming along? Barely giving it a thought. Let's see. Am I going to review the Maze of Games novel by Mike Selinker? I don't know much about it. I'll have to go look that up. What are good procedures to preserve your board games from wear and tear? You're asking me? Folks, you know I'm not the best to answer that question. I don't know. Just be careful. Let's see here. Do you anticipate Star Wars Mata being as successful as X-Wing? I am scared to make that prediction. I don't know. I mean, X-Wing is really entrenched out there, but the Armada comes with Star Destroyers. I don't know. AVGN is Angry Video Game Nerd. Oh. Okay. I may have read that. Why is he angry? I'd rather be happy. Is Coliseum really worth trying? My local gaming store has a copy on the shelf. Go buy it, man. Even if you don't like it, you could probably sell it. Is there ever going to be additional expansions for Legends of Andor? Nah, I don't think so. It wasn't that popular of a game. My favorite solo player game, Civilization 4 for the computer. Have I played Pandemic Legacy? I have not. If Dice Tower Network is too big, would you step back and manage things or continue to push out your own content? I'll keep pushing out my own content. I don't think the network will ever get too big. I know what you're saying there. I want the network to be more than just focused around Town Vassal. That's why I add other reviewers to the channel. Even though the amount of reviews I do is still more than the other reviewers put together, I like that to grow. That's why I added Z and Sam in the top 10s, and I like to see it, go out and be bigger beyond me. Because what if something happens to me? Does the Dice Tower fall apart? I would prefer it not. Will we receive top 50 games of all time from Hamtag? Maybe. What game has not been released are you most looking forward to? Seafall. And it just jumped all the way to the bottom. Oh, there we go. Let's see. What do you think of Hoyuk? Have you played it? I have not. I don't even know what it is. Have you ever caught Z as the traitor in Shadows of Camelot? No, but I just automatically accuse him of being a traitor in everything now. Even if it's a totally cooperative game and there is no traitor, I accuse him because that seems like the right thing to do. The Blade itself. Yeah, that's what it is. That's the series I'm reading now. Let's see. What is the negative review you had the most fun doing? Oh, the apology review for Vasco da Gama. Why no more mustache? I don't know. I told my wife, I said, I'm going to go for the Amish look. We'll see how that goes. Although she's told me I really need to cut my hair, and that is the truth of it. I just hate getting my hair cut because it takes up so much time. Here. Who do you like to play as in Hearthstone? I like to play the guy who sets traps. I forget which one it is. Live play Memoir 44 Overlord. That's an interesting idea. I didn't think of that. That'd be that interesting to watch. Where do you find the music for videos and podcasts? Some of the music was composed for me by Timothy Pinkham. Most of the music I get from smartsound.com. Did I try Zia with 2 players? Yes, I have played it with 2 players. I don't know why you can't. It seems fun enough for me. Have you ever been invited about talking about board games for more mainstream media outlets and outside of the niche hobby media? Occasionally I'll get a call from a reporter or something. I had a call from a reporter while I was gone at Board Game Geek get to it, and so he interviewed, I think, Scott Nicholson instead. It was a newspaper article or something about him. Do you decide who's in your game group? Well, it depends. For the meetups, anybody can come to those. We're not going to chase you away. I mean, I will come talk to you if you are problematic and causing problems and being a general nuisance, but that almost never happens. For my house, yeah, I invite the people to come to my house, but that's more of a space issue than anything else. Am I looking forward to Captain's Wager? Well, it's still on Kickstarter. I think it's come out. I've already had a chance to play it. Have you played any Phil Eklund games? I never have, actually. I might try Greenland. We'll see. You're running a Memoir 44 tournament next summer. Any suggestions? Don't ever ask me for suggestions on tournaments. I'm not the best at that. I apologize. What do you think of playing Fairy Tale using a house rule that you flip allows you to flip another player's card instead of your own? That would make the game extremely cutthroat and back and forth. Oh, we are out of time, folks. I am about to go buy fireworks for New Year's Eve. It's my favorite part of the year. Love fireworks. So I'll answer 2 more questions. So I'll start here. Let's see. What is Jason's occupation? He seems to own every game and travel to every end of the earth. Jason does video, the graphics for the TV, the Spanish TV station down here, which I can't remember what it is. Very good at his job. Does quite well. So he doesn't have a family, so he buys lots of games and can travel. That's what he does. What do you think about the Witcher board game? Well, I just got it. Have not played it. Hoping to play it this week. Your content is ever affected by being sponsored by cool stuff? Nah, I like being sponsored by a store because what does the store have to do with anything? I'm gonna say yeah, their game's good or not. Why would I'm not gonna try to like review games that aren't selling well for them. I'm like, here, I'll give you a good review. Hopefully this game will sell. Nope. Now, I mean, I'll call them up sometimes and say, guys, I'm gonna be giving this game a great review, so you might want to buy one more extra copy because I'm pretty sure one more copy will sell. I don't think I sell that many extra copies, but I will tell them that. Or sometimes I'll say, this game is not going to do well. I really feel it, so maybe you shouldn't order too many copies of it. But other than that, they don't affect my reviews at all. Okay, well, folks, it is time for me to end here. It's time to travel and go out, and I still have a tiny bit of Christmas shopping to do yet, and we got to get ready for the Dice Tower Kickstarter, and tonight we're recording the first of several top 10 lists of 2014. You'll see those go up next week, and I'm in the middle of doing dumps here. See all these pieces? This is for Assault on Doomrock. Was it a good game or a bad game? You're going to have to come watch my review for that one. Yeah, just come watch that. Okay. I appreciate it. I am wondering if these are going to start getting boring for people. Otherwise, I might do these on a weekly basis. We've had a ton of questions. I guess if I ever come to one and there's not that many questions, then we'll wait a few more weeks. And maybe sometimes I'll have other people on these with me. But anyway, until next time, I'm Tom Vassell, and I really appreciate all you guys watching. And you've been watching The Dice Tower.